Hey everybody, and fuck, I forgot my webcam. I was actually going to use it today. Fuck, I have two derpies. That's double the derp.
Angle that I was walking as much on the wall as the floor. I followed close to Calamity, keeping an eye on my eyes forward sparkle for hellhounds. We were hunters again at Zenith's request. Another one at our 6, I whispered to him as the light appeared on my compass. Supply room, I think. I see it.
It's where the
Calamity nodded,
babies are.
reminding me that the bug-eyed style visor in his armor had an EFS of its own. Crouching low, the Pegasus moved stealthily forward until he was in position directly in front of the door, his 4 magical energy rifles pulsing eagerly. I telekinetically pushed open the door, holding it so gravity wouldn't swing it back shut. A skewering dart shot out of the supply room, bouncing harmlessly off the forehead of Calamity's black armor carapace.
Man, what if it's just a
He
kid?
chuckled, raising on his haunches and striking at the bloat sprite with the stinger of his armor's segmented scorpion tail. The impaled creature
Wait,
squealed
what?
as it died.
Dude, that's fucking cool.
He said, chuckling. Ever wish these things could detect threat level instead of just threats? I almost wasted a lot of ammo on a bug. I smirked. Often. I turned back to our friends, motioning them forward. Velvet nodded and nudged Zenith, who was crouched and facing the other way, guarding our flank. My eyes forward sparkled tracked a friendly spot of light as pilots swooped in and out of rooms, searching for enemies to burn. Or rodents to eat. The Balefire Phoenix returned to drop the charred corpse of a small animal at Velvet Remedy's hooves.
Oh, that means it loves you.
Oh, thank you, Velvet sang lusciously, stroking the bird's plumage with a gentle hoof. Pilot hooted and stretched out her wings, fluttering off again. It boggled my mind. You know you're just encouraging her to keep doing that, right?
Well, it means that
And why
it's a
wouldn't
sign of
I?
love.
Velvet said sweetly. My little Pilot is a wonderful hunter, just like she should be. Calamity gave a grumpy look in Zenith's direction. At least, I assumed it was a grumpy look. With my friend hidden inside that armor, I couldn't really tell.
Dude, that's
But
some
his posture
badass
struck me as
armor.
grumpy. I decided I preferred my friend out of that armor. It made him look mysterious and rather evil. And it put up a barrier between us that I didn't care for.
Mysterious and
I'd
evil
gotten
is
used to it with
cool.
Steelhooves, but not being able to see Calamity's face just felt wrong. She is a bird of prey, after all, Velvet reminded us. Zenith eyed the charred corpse and shook her head, then cantered towards us, moving with surprising ease down the off-kilter hallway. Calamity flexed his injured wing, and I thought I heard him mutter, "So was I not so long ago." "So, Calamity," I piped up, pulling his attention away. "I had a question that needs a Pegasus's expertise." "Shoot, little Pip," he said, seeming to cheer me up. If I wanted to clear a large area of clouds, say, the area over Manhattan, say, just as a totally random example, the area above a megaspell chamber which requires sunlight to function, how could I do so without having the Enclave all over me? Calamity nickered.
You
"Oh,
can't?
no. What you planning now, little Pip?" "Just theoretical."
Doom and gloom.
"Yep, sure it is,"
Or
he
bright
said,
lights.
clearly not buying a word of it. Zenith moved up to the body of the bloat sprite. "Perfect," she intoned, opening her satchel. Leaning down, she tore off its wings and spat them into the satchel. "Now I must find a room to complete the brew." Zenith moved ahead, taking the lead again. "Do I even want to know?" Calamity said.
Well,
"From
it
what
can't
I've seen go into it,
possibly
I
hurt
prefer
you.
not to."
I
Returning to my question, Calamity informed me. "Well, there's
Oh,
only
man,
one
I'm
way to
fucking
clear an area
rusty at
that big
this.
that fast, and that's with a sonic rain boom." The gears in my head started turning. "Of course, the Enclave's response to that would be swift and deadly, but you might have clear skies for over an hour." He chuckled ruefully. "Which, sad to say, requires a Pegasus capable of performing one, of which the Equestrian Wasteland has exactly 0. The gears ground to a stop. Damn. "Sorry, little Pip. Show off or not, that's one trick I ain't never been able to do. Very, very few Pegasi can, and the Enclave keeps 'em real close." When the firehouse had started to topple, the building came to rest against the Maripony Mining Administration Building. A canted firehouse window hung open about 5 feet from the opening of a shattered window on the opposite building. "Just a hop, skip, and a jump. I told Calamity with a smile. I remembered wearing Enclave armor from riding Rainbow Dash's memory. It might look fearsomely heavy, but it was amazingly light.
Well, yeah, that's the
There
point
was
of
no
power
reason
armor.
Calamity couldn't do this easily.
All the hydraulics make it
Calamity
easy.
braced against the sloping floor. Easy to say for y'all who ain't never had to do something like this without your wings. He looked to me. If I fall, y'all ready to catch me, right? Just float him across, Xanath suggested from the opposite window where she and Velvet Remedy were waiting. Yeah, Calamity agreed. I like that plan better. I rolled my eyes, then whispered to him. But which do you think will impress Velvet more?
Oh, that's...
Calamity straightened up, shook his
damn,
fears
little
off,
Pip.
and galloped and leapt. He made it with 5 feet to spare. Show off. My turn. I looked down the sloping floor and across the gap to the opposite windowsill. It wasn't even with this window, maybe 2 feet higher. I swallowed. In Calamity's defense, the tilted floor was throwing me off too. I galloped forward, lightening myself at the last moment, after I had all the momentum I needed. I sailed across, smacking into Calamity's armored tail.
Wait, doesn't it have a
See?
scorpion
He
stinger?
joked.
You want to be
I
careful
told
of
you,
that.
nothing to it. I snickered and shook my head. The room was an open office space filled with desks and terminals, none of which had survived well. I checked my EFS and found red lights moving around us, probably on the floors below. I motioned the others to be quiet, and once again I levitated Velvet Remedy as we moved. As we passed the last of the desks, I noticed an orange and yellow book laying in an open waste bin. I floated it out, looking the book over.
Spellbook of Destruction.
The Big Book of Boom, announced the cover, adding beneath,
Wait, was I right?
The Dynamite Guide to Handling Explosives. Below that was a picture of the author, Red Three Hooves Runner, with a cartoon balloon saying, "You better handle her right the first time, 'cause she won't explode twice." The book was crammed full of notes and papers. I tucked it away to look over later. Underneath it was an audio recording. I downloaded it onto my PitBuck and slipped my earbloom into an ear. Surely Calamity wouldn't mind this. Listening to the recording wouldn't remove me from my surroundings.
Yeah, it kinda does.
Mining Officer Torchwood to all concerned personnel. First order of business. We will be having a surprise inspection in 2 days. Every pony needs to be well rested and at the top of their game. Maripony Operations Overmare Sunny Days has authorized a half day tomorrow so that every pony can get plenty of rest and have their uniforms cleaned
Is
and
that a
starched.
reference to the
Any pony
Fanon's
who uses
normal
this time to go to Ponyville
non-Celestia
and get drunk
Celestia?
will not be allowed back into the Maripony facility or any operations building within Old Olney, and will be docked 1 week's pay. Baskets, make sure you have proper headgear this time, or you will find yourself no longer employed by Maripony Mining Company. Second order of business, Maripony Mining Company has increased demand for productivity. This means you can expect an increase in work hours of 20% with a corresponding 15% increase in your paychecks. Officers whose teams exceed the new quota will receive a bonus. I cannot say what the bonus is, but I can let you know that the bonus will include ice cream.
Exotic
Likewise,
butters.
we will be opening up several previously restricted tunnels to mining operations. The Maripony Mining Company assures you that these tunnels meet and exceed our minimum safety standards.
Then
Third
why
order
are they
business.
restricted?
There have been increased reports of trespass by relocated diamond dogs. Now, I don't know if this is a territorial pack mine thing or if they're just stupid, but if you find a diamond dog on Maripony property, you are to instruct the dog to leave. If the diamond dog refuses, use of sonic deterrents are permitted. Ask your team officers for the newest line in D4, Diamond Dog Deterrent Device, whistles, now with convenient neck wrapping loops. Fourth order of business. Thanks to Brickbane, we have had to reset our days without serious injury board back to 0. Thankfully, Brickbane will recover the use of most of her limbs. Remember, D4 neck wrapping loops should be kept short so that your whistle cannot dangle into mining machinery.
Oh, that
Keep up the good work,
most
every pony.
of her limb. Oh, that. Oh.
I turned off the earbloom. We had reached the stairwell, and my EFS had lit up with more hostiles. 2 hellhounds lurked visibly at the bottom of the stairs below. They were wearing makeshift armor, and one of them carried a magical energy minigun. There were more around the corner. One of them started sniffing. I motioned the others back and looked to Zenith. In theory, the potion she had brewed was altering our scent, making us smell like mold and bloat sprites. Still, going down to street level was out, unless Zenith thought now was the time to go on the offensive. The zebra shook her head. She slipped forward and started up the stairs towards the roof. If I remembered correctly, this would put us across the street from the hospital. I didn't think even Calamity could clear Old Olney's main street with just a hop, skip, and a jump. What am I looking at?
I don't know.
It
It
was
hasn't
not
been
the first time
described.
those words had come out of my mouth. A late evening wind moaned through Old Olney, pulling at our manes and tails. A yard from my hooves was the lumpy puddle of sludge which had once been the Hellhound sniper positioned on the rooftop of the Maripony Mining and Administration Building. Calamity had fired on him the moment we burst out of the roof, liquefying the creature before it could attack or howl.
Wouldn't they
A
hear
strange
that?
antenna sat in the center of the sagging rooftop, humming
Like,
softly,
wouldn't they have heard
surrounded
of
by
that?
magical gemstones
They
that
have
radiated
super
a
hearing.
soft blue light. Around the antenna were several tables, one of which was still intact and held a glowing terminal that faced away from us. The others had been clawed to shreds. Strange silvery boxes sat nearby, all but one of them similarly shredded. Hellhound claw marks sliced into the barricades that ringed the roof. There were several dead ponies up here, all of them Pegasi, all wearing the same black carapace armor.
Oh boy.
Enclave scouting party? I asked.
So this was brought up in the last video, talking about diamond dogs or hellhounds. And everybody talked to him. Was it Sir Around or Arun? God damn, I keep fucking up your name. Sorry, but Sir Arun. Like you mentioned that they attack ponies. Well, the only time we ever see them attack ponies before right now was when they were Steel Rangers. Well, there was that one, but that was a looter kind of trying to fuck up their where they lived at the time, so, yeah. And besides, the looter could have been an asshole. You don't know. Could have shot first. But, other than that, it always seems like they fight Steel Rangers, which makes sense because they have energy weapons. And they clearly have the means of maintaining that stuff. Energy weapons are pretty high-tech stuff. The Steel Rangers will obviously want that. So, it makes sense for them to fight. And now they're fighting Enclave. So, I don't know. It really does seem like no one ever talked to them, and the only time they interact with ponies is when ponies want to take their shit. And, if I was a hellhound, I'd get pretty sick of that and just kill the fuckers. I don't know. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here, because, it really does seem no one's ever talked to them, and the only people they interact with are the assholes.
Calamity. Our Pegasus walked amongst the corpses. They were old, just dried and rotting flesh hanging on the bone. No, he said, looking up. This was a science team. Calamity trotted round the other side of the terminal. I have no idea what they'd be doing in Old Olney, or down at all for that matter. His voice was grim. But I aimed to find out. I recalled what Homage had told me about the night she found the weapon from the stars. Joe Blue had suspected it was part of a Grand Pegasus Enclave experiment. Perhaps she had not been so wrong after all. Maybe I should try hacking it, I blurted out, wanting to see the secrets the terminal held. Calamity's armored head looked up, and he lifted the armor's visor. He chuckled. Be my guest, he said, stepping away and welcoming me to the terminal with a swing of his scorpion-like tail. But I don't think you'll be able to hack this one.
Oh, don't say
Come
that.
on, Calamity. I laughed good-naturedly. I haven't met a terminal yet that I can't hack. I puffed myself
Why,
up,
is it broken?
taking that as a challenge. Y'all ain't never met an Enclave terminal.
They're not
Calamity
that
said
hard,
nervously.
trust me.
I stuck out my tongue as I trotted over. Technology's all the same. This is me, remember? The little mare with the pit buck on her flank? Let me at it. I stopped as I caught sight of the terminal interface. It was made of a strange white substance that I couldn't identify. I reached out to touch it, and my hoof went right through it like there was nothing there.
You need wings, don't
It
you?
was made of clouds.
Oh, motherfucker.
What the fuck? Calamity laughed. I looked around.
Oh, just get
The
cloud walking
Enclave supply
spells.
boxes all had locks on them that were made of the same material, either white or a light shade of pink. I looked to him, demanding an explanation as the pony in my head ranted that this was not how things should be. Well, what did y'all expect Pegasi built stuff out of? There are whole cities up there built almost entirely out of clouds. I could feel him grinning behind that damn helmet. What? Did you believe only unicorn ponies had any magic of their own? I stopped, frustrated. The very idea of terminals and locks that I couldn't get into just because they were made of clouds was just...
To be fair, even in the world of Equestria, that doesn't actually work. Because just because it's solid for Pegasi doesn't mean it's solid for for others. I mean, Spike, when he falls through clouds, the clouds have a hole in them. And it's not solid or hard, so those locks shouldn't work. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Just open the crates. The locks wouldn't hold. Because we see even Magic Pegasi clouds aren't hard. They're soft and malleable. This is bullshit.
just wrong and unfair. The words of the goddess floated back to me, with controls which can only be operated by a Pegasus. Fuck. The Ministry of Awesome had built key control systems out of fucking clouds. Any pony other than a Pegasus who attempted to operate the controls would find themselves clutching slightly damp air.
I figure Scootaloo felt pretty stupid about that when the Enclave was founded, didn't she?
A thought occurred to me. Is there anyone other than a Pegasus who can operate a system with a cloud interface?
Cloud walking spell, motherfucker!
Nope, Calamity said proudly, then swiftly took it back. Yep, Griffin's cane. So that's how Red Eye was planning to get past that obstacle. And I knew how he was trying to get past the second. We were on the clock again. I sighed, tossing up my hoofs in exasperation, and trotted back to the others, letting Calamity work on hacking the terminal. Instead, I moved to the edge of the building. I floated out my binoculars and looked across the street at the hospital. It looked shaken. There were massive cracks running up the walls and one of the corners had collapsed. A sign, a yellow cross with a pink butterfly in the center, had started to pull free from the wall 2 stories up. The upper bolts had torn from the wall, and the whole sign hung precariously over the street below. Most of the windows were shattered, and the winds of Old Olney whipped its stained hospital curtains. Even still, it was one of the most intact buildings in Old Olney, and it was our best hope for the medical supplies we needed to fix Calamity's wing. I looked across the rooftop. I could see the Earth Pony flying contraption clearly, with its candy-colored paint job lit up by the setting sun, the name Griffin Chaser 2 emblazoned on the side. It looked in sore disrepair, but I trusted Calamity's expertise. I looked down the main road of Old Olney, a main street with a set of train tracks running down the center. Hellhounds scampered about, moving from one building to another in packs.
Do you guys still eat
us.
gems? Like, what do you
And
guys
night was
eat?
falling.
I'm wondering about that.
I was staring at the spikes that adorned the top of a wrought iron gate. They were ugly things, painful looking. I nodded my horn towards one of them, and the metal glowed with my beautiful blue magic, reshaping itself instantly into a happily prancing mare. I sent a prayer of thanks to Celestia and Luna. I was in a unicorn mare. It felt good and right. Even better, I was in sunlight. Perhaps the brightest, cleanest sunlight yet. The air was dusty but clean, reminding me yet again how odd the air of the real world was. I turned my eyes to the next one and wove my magical spell over it.
Wait, dusty
This
and
became a
clean?
prancing
I
unicorn stallion.
don't think that's how it works.
I was struck by how much it resembled Prince Blueblood. Almost a perfect likeness.
How the fuck do you know who he is?
The next spike
oh,
glowed
wait,
and
yeah.
transformed
Yeah,
into
okay,
a
I
unicorn
remember.
mare, head bent as she was in mid-charge, her horn aimed dangerously close to Prince Blueblood's. "Behave yourself, Rarity," I heard myself whisper in Rarity's lovely voice. The blue glow of magic surrounded the 2 figures again, and they were transformed into 2 entirely different, happy, and generic Pegasi. I felt a strange thrill as I realized who I was, followed by a flash of guilt. "That old spell, huh?" came a voice from directly behind me. I turned, the blue Pegasus with the shockingly rainbow-colored mane moving into view. "It's not polite to sneak up on ponies, Rainbow Dash." "I wasn't sneaking," the Pegasus said defensively. "I was flying. It's not my fault flying is quiet." Rainbow Dash was wearing the purple and black uniform I had seen her in before. "So, what have they got you all the way out in this dustbin for?" Rarity looked around, and I was treated to the sight of Old Olney, intact and well-maintained and bustling with ponies. I was able to see the shops and homes that I had only known as ruins. And yet, as glorious as this look into the past was, I was clearly not seeing Old Olney in its heyday. Most of the shops were boarded up. There was a sense of disuse hanging over much of the town, and the bulk of the ponies were clearly either military or associated with the Ministry of Arcane Sciences.
Some shit going on down there.
Rarity said ruefully. They're having trouble with the diamond dogs again. Fluttershy has tried to talk to them, but it didn't work. So some pony thought they might pay more attention if I were to talk to them instead. Gee, Rainbow Dash snickered. I wonder why. Why indeed? Did Fluttershy tell him this wasn't their home anymore? Rainbow Dash asked, hovering in the air in front of me. Or you know that it's dangerous? Of course she did, Rarity said. Fluttershy even tried to compromise. Oh, brother. Rainbow Dash face-hoofed.
Why? What's wrong with
when
that?
They discovered that Twilight's magical... My host searched for the best word. Byproducts, shall we say, have started eating through the barrels. Sunny lost a pony trying to move them when several tore open like they were made of nothing but the covering paint. I watched us look Rainbow Dash up and down. You know, I still can't believe you're wearing that. Hey, we're Luna's elite aerial force. What else are we going to call ourselves?
I don't know,
How about anything other than the Shadow Bolts? Rarity suggested primly. Way I see it, why not play into the zebra's crazy Nightmare Moon focus?
No!
The original Shadow Bolts were all just Nightmare Moon, right?
No! You
Rainbow Dash grinned
stupid!
conspiratorially.
You stupid fucking idiot. Don't any of you do research on your... How do you guys not know about the zebra's religions? Like, that's the problem. Was there no cultural exchanges, no diplomats going to foreign countries? Were you all just sitting in your little corner of the world, not really pay... Okay, I could kind of believe that at ponies, because ponies seem really isolationist. Like, they don't know anything about the world. They didn't know what was going down in Griffinstone. Okay, like, that's pretty much proof right there. Ponies they have to have some sort of isolationist mindset. Like, it might be natural or it might be cultural, I don't know. But, like, Griffinstone is next door. It is literally the kingdom that borders yours to the east. And you guys don't know that, like, shit went down there? How? Because either you don't care or you're so isolationist you don't know. That's the only explanation I have. But, like, this is war. You think you would research your enemy as much as possible, that you would ask questions of your zebra minorities, try to get as much info as you can. You fucking dumbass mayor. Oh, God.
Why not use that to our advantage? Every zebra who sees us coming and flees the battlefield is one less zebra we'll have to kill, or one that might kill us. Still, I can never get used to seeing you like that. Actually... Rainbow Dash put a hoof behind her head, brushing her mane. I had an idea about that. Do you think your old dressmaking skills are up to working with armor? The Pegasus ribbed. Rainbow Dash, you wound me. Oh, came a shout from somewhere on my host's left. A moment later, a dusty pony in a military uniform galloped to a stop and offered a salute to Rainbow Dash. Rarity stepped back. Addie's, Dash looked at the pony's uniform. Tank Commander. Torchwood, ma'am. Big fan. Followed your career since the Wonderbolts. Rainbow Dash's face brightened. Oh, really? Did you see him at the Gallops last year? My host shook her head. I see you're going to be busy for a while, Dash. I'll catch up with you later, she said graciously, even though it was the Pegasus who had sought her out. Do you think you'll be free by dinner? Rainbow Dash turned back. Oh yeah, no problem. I just want to throw some ideas past you. I could feel Rarity smiling. Also, Rainbow Dash added, swooping close and whispering, I heard a rumor that you're working on a new spell with the Ministry of Peace. Something about keeping a pony alive and awake indefinitely. Suspended animation, yes.
Okay. I was about to say, that sounded evil.
Description of it. Rarity replied, nodding. And I'm working on it for them, not with them. Part of a private line of research that has finally borne some fruit, but it still needs some fine-tuning. Dash grinned. Great, 'cause that sounds like just what I've been looking for. Rarity raised an eyebrow. Dare I ask? Just part of the single Pegasus project. I could feel Rarity frown. You mean that thing that has you putting those dreadful eyesores all over our lovely Equestria?
Oh, like you people haven't done worse with your strip mining. Come on.
Oh, they'll look better when they're done. I promise. Applebloom says they'll be elegant. You like elegant, right? Indeed I do, but I'll wait until I've seen them. Rainbow Dash's muzzle broke into a big grin. Just wait till you see the main hub. Actually, you can glimpse the construction of it if you stand high enough on the roof of the hospital. Just face towards the water tower and look about 100 miles up and out. Rainbow Dash paused. You, might need binoculars. Or a telescope, Rarity retorted. Yeah, anyway, it's not named yet. They wouldn't let me name it what I wanted to, even though it's my damn project and my ministry. So, you wanted to name it the Rainbow Dash's Mega Cool Center of Awesomeness, didn't you? Rarity asked, ribbing back.
You are such a dork.
Rainbow Dash hovered indignantly, then admitted. Not exactly. Rarity laughed a charming and happy laugh. Go tend to your fan, Dash. I'll meet you later. Rainbow Dash grinned, waved, and swooped back to Tank Commander Torchwood. In seconds, they were deep into gushing over the aerial acrobatics of Rainbow Dash, a Pegasus who could apparently do a sonic rainboom in her sleep. Rarity turned and trotted away, humming a joyful tune. What did you do? Zenith was demanding of Calamity as I came out of the memory. The Pegasus cantered nervously. I don't know, it just started doing that. My ears perked up, picking up on a high whine coming from the antenna array. I looked to Calamity,
who was
staring at the terminal as if it betrayed him. With a sinking feeling, I asked, Did you trigger a lockdown? Calamity shook his head. Nah, I got in just fine, weren't that hard. He looked up at me, his eyes wide inside the bug-like nightmare helmet. And what is it then? What is this place? What is it you thought? Calamity swallowed. It's an Enclave experiment, all right. Under orders of Harbinger, one of the Enclave High Council. They're playing with magic-laced sonics, hoping to control the Hellhounds. They were trying to make these creatures into slaves, Zenith said in a low voice. I looked around, drinking in the sight of the rooftop with my new eyes. I'm guessing it didn't work. What do you think the chances are that we're really lucky and Calamity just triggered the leave us alone signal? Velvet Remedy quipped grimly.
You turned them into berserkers, didn't you?
The street. She immediately backed up.
Also, why the fuck would you activate that thing?
Under her charcoal coat. I dared a peek. Celestia's solar-heated libido. The street was full of hellhounds. Scores of them. More were moving out of doorways or climbing over buildings, all moving towards us. And they looked pissed.
Fucking dumbasses, all.